Hi, my name's Karen Thaxton, and usually you'll find me in the online marketing space over at marketingwords.com. But today I want to talk to you about my second passion, which is pickleball. And when I'm not behind a computer, you'll probably find me out on the pickleball courts. That is, until a few weeks ago, I started having pain in my arm, in the muscle on the top, and also sort of a funny tight feeling in the tendons here, and thought I would just play through it because that's what I've done with my back and that's what I did with my foot, and that's what all good pickleball players do, right? We just play through the pain. Until I woke up one day and my arm was just killing me. Went to the doctor, ended up in a sling, steroid shot, the typical thing, use the anti-inflammatories, rest it, compression, blah, blah, blah. It really wasn't getting that much better, and I was getting very frustrated. So after a week in the sling, I could come out of that, but I was told not to play with my arm until it got to feeling better and it didn't hurt anymore. So I began to play left-handed. That was a entertaining experience, to say the least. I've actually gotten sort of okay. I can do most things left-handed now, but it's not pretty. So I decided to find out what could be causing this injury to my arm. And one thing I discovered, especially with this muscle here, is that when I was trying to improve some certain things, I wanted a more forceful backhand and a couple of other things I was working on, I was apparently just clamping down on the grip and holding it instead of, putting some force in the grip when I was hitting backhand or doing the things I wanted to do. And then when we switched servers or whatnot, releasing my hand, dangling it to the side, stretching it a little bit and whatnot, I was still just holding onto that paddle apparently for dear life everywhere that I had it. And that's what caused most of the issue with the muscle, with the tendons and whatnot. And the other thing that was going on with the muscle on this side of my arm, I discovered by self-diagnosis online that it was probably vibration and impact damage, which I didn't even know was a thing, but it is. So next step is to find out, what do you do about vibration and impact damage? How do you prevent it? How do you avoid it in the future? And how do you heal from it? And that's what led me to Pro Kennex and their Ovation Flight paddle. They have multiple paddles to choose from, but I'm going to talk to you about the Ovation Flight today. I have been playing pickleball for about 2.5 years, and while I have never been ranked, I'm guessing I'm around a 3.2, 3.3. I played in my first tournament last fall and won a bronze and a silver medal. So I have a little bit of experience behind me, and I contacted Pro Kennex and said, look, here's what's going on with my arm. I've done some research, I've watched your video, I've read your website, and found out about all the technology, and I wonder if you would send me one of your paddles, the paddle of your choice, whichever one you want me to have, and allow me to use that. So I did not pay for this, and I told them if I liked it, I would do a review for them online, and I'm doing the review, so obviously I liked it, but I want to tell you about some details. I have some notes over here and some pickleballs in my old paddle, so you'll see me reach for those from time to time so I don't forget to tell you about all my thoughts, and I can show you some comparisons. We're standing on my homemade practice court, and we're going to hit the balls here in just a little while against the practice board, and I'll let you see how the paddle is, the different feel, the different sound that you'll hear with the different types of ball. The weight is one thing I noticed, and the size and the shape are what I noticed. When I first pulled it out of the box, I thought, my gosh, that is small. That is a tiny paddle, and it's an optical illusion. It really isn't. Here's my Gamma. I've played with this for about a year, and let me get the bottom level. And you can see just millimeters shorter on the top. And of course, the Gamma, if I straighten it up, you can see has the edges there, and the bottoms are the same, and the grips, the bottoms of the grips are lined up. So it really isn't that much smaller than, this is a Gamma Mirage. I played with this for about a year. The weight is significantly less than my Gamma. My Gamma came in on my shipping scale at 8.3 ounces, and this one was 7.2. And I can tell a big difference. The shape and the weight not only contribute to less exertion on your arm, but also make it really easy to maneuver at the kitchen line when you're doing quick volleys. I've noticed my ability to get the paddle, there aren't so many times where I say, oh, I couldn't get my paddle around. You know, it comes much easier to maneuver this around. It has a very small grip, under 4 inches, which I have tiny hands, so that didn't matter to me. And the reason for this, as stated on a video that they have online, is so that you get more wrist action. You don't have to have your hand out as far. When you close your fingers, you get better wrist action in there for some of the shots that you need this for. It plays really well. I have enjoyed playing with this paddle. It has good accuracy. When I hit the ball and put it somewhere, that's where it's going to go. And I think a lot of this has to do with the enormous sweet spot. You can hear, let's see, let me get a little closer. See right here where it gets a deeper sound? That goes all the way around up here. So it's about 1.5 inches around, and the entire middle is sweet spot, which is super nice. You don't have to be ultra picky about where you hit those, you know, super shots that you want to get in, those accurate shots that require a lot of detail. So you can do it with this paddle because the sweet spot is so huge, and I really love that. With this one, the sweet spot is really just in the middle, and you can tell when you hit it and don't get the sweet spot. And we're going to take a ball in just a little while and hit some balls so you can hear that too. So for the last week or so, a little bit longer than a week, I've been playing with this paddle, and I've really enjoyed it with my left arm initially, because I had not begun with my right arm. My left arm was getting really tired because it had never had a workout before. I'd never played left-handed before. And when I began to learn, because I wasn't about to sit on the sidelines for 6 or 8 weeks while my right arm healed, my arm was getting tired really quickly. So after an hour, hour and a half, I was ready to go, and okay, let me get my backpack and we'll get out of here. When I started playing with this paddle left-handed, I could play for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, no problem. It made a huge difference. When I started playing with my right arm, I was able to do most shots with this paddle that I couldn't do with the Gamma paddle. I still can't serve. There's too much exertion and pull when I try to come back and serve a ball right-handed, so I'm still doing that left-handed. I can't do overhead shots because right here tugs, and when I get up to the top, it's pulling on that muscle as well. So those still have to be done left-handed. But it's been noticeable, the difference between this and the Gamma paddle. I want to tell you about the technology that's behind this, and I got the information directly from the Pro Kennex website and typed it up so I could read it to you exactly the way they say it. ProKennex Kinetic technology uses micro bearings and Newtonian physics to absorb the ball energy, shock, torque, and vibration into the kinetic chambers of the paddle. After ball impact, a shock wave is released into the paddle and absorbed by the chambers, eliminating vibration to the arm. This shields the player from harmful impact forces and provides enhanced feel. Now, that isn't to say that I don't feel anything when I'm playing with this paddle. Of course, anytime something hits something, you're gonna feel it physically. There's emotion, it moves and whatnot. What they're explaining on their website is the vibration is absorbed into the paddle. So while you still have some impact, There's not a lot of vibration at all. And I want to show you some hitting on here so you can hear what it sounds like as well, because it's a really quiet paddle. I also want to talk to you about the different kinds of pickleballs. The ones that I much prefer, especially after this injury, are the yellow ones. They're softer, they have a little give. This is Onyx. I believe that a lot of other companies make these as well. This is one of the hard, I call them acrylic balls. I'm not sure what they're made out of. This one is painful. Even with this paddle, if I'm playing left-handed or right-handed or doing shots I could normally do with the softer ball, these balls are still causing me pain. So if you have a choice, it's probably healthier long-term to play with the softer one than with the harder ones. So let's get both paddles, and I'll let you hear as I hit with them. We'll start with my gamma first, and I'll have to find the sweet spot again. And you can hear the sound of that paddle. This just feels so heavy now that I've played with the Pro Kennex. And we'll grab this one and hit a few as well. And listen to the difference. I hit the target square so many more times with this than I did with the gamma. And it wasn't necessarily my aim, it was the sweet spot in the paddle. But I have really enjoyed this, and I can honestly tell you that while I'm not going to get rid of my gamma by any stretch of the imagination, the Pro Kennex Ovation Flight has absolutely been promoted to my primary paddle. I have really enjoyed playing with it, and I will continue to do so. There's some information below if you're interested in the Pro Kennex line of paddles. They have square ones also, but I really enjoy this oval shaped one. You'll get attention when you walk on the court. I tell you that. When you pull it out of your bag, everybody stops and goes, wow, look at that, because the shape is so unique. It is edgeless. This is the Ovation Flight. It has a guard across the top where you scrape a lot of the times. There are some that don't even have this. It's just completely edgeless all the way around. But take a look. There's a link below and some additional information for you. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Questions about my injury, my recovery, questions about playing with this paddle, or anything else you want to talk about as far as pickleball goes, drop me a comment below, and I appreciate it.